Hello ladies and gents, I'm the Beanie 101 and I'm here with some more NHL 18 franchise mode. We're with the Golden Knights and we've had a rather indifferent start to our second season. We are 5-5. We're sitting pretty much middle of the pack. In the Pacific Division we're doing okay, but actually compared to some other teams around the NHL, you know what, we're okay, we're alright. We do need some more goal scoring. I've tried to change up the power play lines. Let me know what you guys think about our lineup currently. Vibata has been our best player. He's our goal scorer. He's our trigger man. I'm hoping that can continue. Our second line has been struggling. Perron, Carlson, and Marleau have been struggling a great deal. Riley Smith needs some goals. Alex Took hasn't really had a great start to the season either, but he's a third line. I'm going to keep him pretty much where he is. Our D-men haven't been contributing at all, which is disappointing to see. In fact, let me just move Merrill up in place of Bogosian and have Bogosian on that bottom line. Special teams has been the real trouble. I've moved Riley Smith to the power play. And I've added David Perron to the power play second unit to hopefully bolster that somewhat. But we're going to sim all the way through to December. We're going to sim all the way through Christmas and into the new year. So let's get going. We'll do some scouting and we'll see what sort of stuff transpires as the year goes by. But let's sim November to start with. We beat the Islanders, which is fantastic. Scout needs us to do some more stuff. So let's move over to the WHL and scout forwards for a week. We beat the Panthers. And John Merrill has been injured again. I'm gonna manually edit these lines. In comes Nate Schmidt. He's going to get plenty of time this year. We beat the Rangers. These line changes have done great guns. We beat the Islanders again. We beat the Flyers. We're on a 5-game winning streak. That is fantastic. Let's go for defenseman for a week. Tyrati. I do want to start manually editing Chicago's lines just because when I went best lines, they messed things up quite a lot. So Ratty is going to go into my third line. Let's continue the sim. Wow, look at us go. Zach Bogosian is injured and has a fractured jaw. His estimated return is the 3rd of December. Lines must be edited. So the only option I had here was to add Bellemare to the lineup. So that is what we have done. A little bit of a shame that I've got a centre on D, but no, that's okay. It looks like morale has improved a little bit. Some players are responding well. Took is back up to an 81. Nestrazel is back up to a 78. Let's continue with the sim. Shootout loss against the Jets, but that does still give us a point. We beat the Minnesota Wild. Let's scout goalies for a week in the WHL. And John Merrill is back. So in goes John Merrill to our third line. I'm a little bit disappointed by how regularly he's injured. He wasn't injured much last year, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He played 78 games. But he's already been injured 3 times this year. Maybe we need to give him a little bit of time to heal. So I'm going to sit him on our third line for the time being. Are we going to beat the Jets? Oh, see? Merrill injured again. Maybe I just need to make sure that he's fully healed before I start putting him back in the lineup. So I'm going to have to put Bellemare back in. And we continue with the sim. Another loss to the Winnipeg Jets. We lose to the Panthers. An overtime loss against the Red Wings. And now we're up to scouting the US. Scout forwards for a week. Bogosian is back. And we move on. We lose to Buffalo. We've got a waiver claim. Mike Riley. You know what? I'm short of an extra D-man, and he's 77 overall. He's not fantastically defensively minded for a two-way defender. 25 years old, medium top 4D. He could have some potential. I'm going to claim him just so that I now have someone else to move on with. So, a little bit of a disappointing end to the year. The end of the month. We ended up losing 5 in a row after winning 6 or 7 in a row. So, our record is not bad. 14, 8, and 3. I'm quite happy with. Chicago is struggling. 16, 8, and 1. Or what am I talking about? Chicago isn't struggling at all at 16, 8, and 1. Verbata now has 16 points in 25 games. Are we still struggling for goals? So we've got Reinhardt with 16 points. He's now on 6 goals. Marlowe has turned up, and he's now up to 14 points. So he's kicked on a little bit, as has Perron. Perhaps any of those points on the power play? Not many. Not many. Strome is struggling as our first line centre. He's only a point behind William Karlsson. He's probably not going to be having too favourable matchups. But interestingly, they're all plus players. So we're definitely not conceding goals. Riley Smith is struggling. Has he got any power play points? He's got 3 power play points. Okay. So the power play's starting to pick up a little bit. Verbata, Goligoski, Theodore, D-Man doing well, getting some points on the power play. No goals, but they're obviously picking up assists. Smith has a power play goal. Strome has 2 power play goals. Karlsson is doing it on the power play. All right. That's okay. That's okay. Let's have a look at our defensemen overall. Goligoski, 9 points out of 25 games. That's much better. Sheehan has 6 assists, no goals yet, but that's okay as well. I'd expect these two to be by far our best players from the back end. And they're both plus players. The plus-minus actually seems to be much, much better this year. Even Bogosian seems to be doing much better, which is good. And that means our goalie should still be doing very, very positively. Marc-Andre Fleury has turned it around. He's obviously been in net for the vast majority of those wins, but the save percentage, 9.34, very happy with that. Goals against just over 2. Hutchinson is doing great as backup as well. So we seem to be doing pretty well as a defensive team. And I think that's because our 3rd and 4th lines are quite well rounded. We are currently 2nd in the Pacific, so we're in the playoff hunt at the moment, and we're in the playoff hunt despite only scoring 2.12 goals per game. So we're keeping it tight. We're keeping it tight. If we start leaking goals, we may not be doing quite so well. But in terms of our defense, goals against average is very, very good. Power play has gone up to 9%. Still not great. Let's see how we're doing compared to the rest of the league. So where are we? The New York Rangers are leading the way with a record of 17, 5, and 2. That is a fantastic start to the season. Tampa Bay not too far behind, as are the Sharks, the Blackhawks, the Penguins, and then there are your Golden Knights. The difference being that we are not scoring at all. Considering we played, you know what? We're not a million miles behind. We're only 5 or 6 goals behind the Penguins. The goals for have actually come down a huge amount this year. Well, apart from the Red Wings. Wow. Oh, that's goals against. Wow. I was looking at the wrong column. Goals for are still pretty tidy across the league. It looks like about 2.7 seems to be about the average. And we are one of the worst goal scorers in the NHL. That makes sense. The Red Wings scoring the least and letting in the most. That is not a recipe for success. The Oilers are also letting in an awful lot of goals, but they seem to be scoring a fair amount as well. I want to take a look at this Detroit Red Wings lineup. Why are they struggling so much? So here are the Detroit Red Wings. They have Jonathan Marchessault on their books. They obviously picked him up in free agency, and he's not been doing too badly. 6 goals and 12 assists, so he really cannot be to blame. Zetterberg is still an 87 overall. Nyquist has maybe been a little bit disappointing. Maybe it's their second line. Yeah, their second line hasn't been doing great. Antoine Roussel has not been doing good at all. Yeah, their second line is sorely lacking. And then in defense, I'm guessing their defense is pretty poor. You know what? It's not too dissimilar to us. Not too dissimilar to us at all. I wonder who they've got in net. Mrazek and Howard, they really don't have an elite goaltender. Mrazek at 84 is probably not going to be quite good enough. And then Edmonton were also struggling, and they've got Cam Talbot in net. So I wonder who they've got in D. Is that Kefblom and Larson? That's a great 1-2 punch. And then it drops off pretty quickly after that. But they should be able to hold their own. And offensively, they obviously have McDavid. Their second line looks like it might be alright as well. It drops off pretty sharply after that. So this is what I say about having like 4 lines that you can rotate. The good thing about our team, if I go to our lines, is that we really can get goals from everywhere. We've got quite a lot of forward depth. That line of Tuk, Sheehan, and how's that doing? Having said that, it's not doing great. Took four goals, 1 assist. Sheehan's not doing much. Smith is struggling as well. Look at those shooting percentages. Man, Riley Smith, 3.2% shooting. He's got to get some goals. In fact, our shooting percentages as a whole, not great. First line is alright, but the rest of them, pretty poor. So our game of the day, seeing as we've had 2 overtime losses or shootout losses against the Winnipeg Jets, that looks like it might be a nice tight game. So we are going to be playing the Jets. Let's sim up to that point and see how we do. Roster management. We don't have any unqualified RFAs as far as I'm aware, so we can continue. John Merrill is back. I'm going to continue just for the moment. Can we beat Edmonton? We beat them 6-2. We're going back to the US for a week for defensemen. And then we've got a game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Can we beat the Pens? Wow, we get an overtime win against the Pens. We lose 8-1 to the Senators. That's a big, big loss. And now let's scout goalies for a week. A 5-1 loss to the Bruins, 4-1 win against the Devils. We beat the Blues. We beat the Nashville Predators. And now we are done in North America. We can head over to Europe. It looks like the SHL has the most players. So let's have a look at forwards in the SHL. We lose to the Canucks. And here we are. Up against the Winnipeg Jets. We now have a record of 19-11-3. And the Jets have an equally good record of 22-10-3. Join us in a moment where we will play the Winnipeg Jets.
Hello and welcome to the T-Mobile Arena where the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be hosting the Winnipeg Jets. As we can see from the NHL standings, Winnipeg currently lies second in the NHL with a record of 22-10-3. Vegas are a little further behind in 9th place and 41 points. Both have had good starts to the season. Your starting goaltender for tonight is going to be Marc-Andre Fleury. Solid start to the season, sporting a very healthy 2.23 goals against average. A record of 14-8-1 is far better than what he was able to achieve in his first year in Vegas. Here's hoping his second year can bring some more success. He's coming up against Connor Hellebuyck. He has a record of 17-3, a fantastic 1.56 goals against average. and a good save percentage as well. So we're going to have to see if the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be able to get the puck past the Jets goaltender. It's proved difficult for many teams so far this season. Hopefully the Knights are going to do a little better. Very early on in the first period, we see the Knights coming down the left wing, a nice shot on goal. Trouba tries to retrieve the puck, but Verbata still has it down low. It gets played back to the point. Harmonic plays it to Strome, back to Harmonic, back to Strome. Harmonic plays it to Reinhardt, who lets go of a fantastic shot. And those questions about whether Hellbuck could be beaten, they have been answered in emphatic fashion, with Sam Reinhart picking up his 9th goal of the season just 1 minute and a half into the game. There's a little bit of traffic in front of Hellbuck. He maybe didn't necessarily have his wits about him, hasn't quite settled into his game, and couldn't quite get the glove hand up in time. Reinhardt doing the business, Hamonic and Strome with the assists on that goal. And we have another face-off to start the game off after that Vegas tally. But again, Vegas are putting Winnipeg under pressure. Throwing the puck on net, it squirms out in front, but Tyler Myers comes away with it. He skates down the wing into the Vegas zone, plays it to Hansel, throws a shot on net. It comes off something. I'm not sure what. It looks like Patrick Laine is celebrating, so it looks like it may have come off Laine. We're going to take another look at that, but he's definitely being credited with his 9th goal of the season. A little bit fortuitous. Hansel throws the puck on net. It looks like it's just hit Laine's stick and gone past Marc-Andre Fleury. And we're barely 2 minutes into the game, and already we have seen a goal apiece. 1-1 is the score, and the game has barely started. A couple of minutes later, we see another face-off, this time in the Winnipeg zone. Vegas again exerting some pressure. Big slap shot there. It looks like Sheehan has got his stick onto that and deflected it down past Hellbuck, but it's being called back. Is this going to stand? What we're looking for here is whether the stick is above the crossbar. We can't really tell from that replay. We're going to take another look at it. Here's the shot. And yeah, I think this one might be waved off. I have a suspicion that Sheehan's stick was just above the crossbar. What is the referee going to say? Yep, no goal. So the Knights had the opportunity to answer back straight away after that Winnipeg Jets tally, but the referee calls it back. And we move on a couple of minutes later on. The Vegas Knights are on the power play. Reinhardt throws a shot on net. Hamonic manages to stop the puck going all the way down the ice on the penalty kill. He skates it in. He gets some luck. He's managed to throw a shot on net. He retrieves the puck from below the goal line. Plays it out to Strome, who's waiting there in prime goal scoring position. He one-times the puck past Hellbuck. And a power play goal is on the books for Ryan Strome, his 8th of the season. And the power play is starting to get going for the Vegas Golden Knights after a horrendous start to the season on the power play. Hellbuck can't really be held to blame for that. Strome was wide open. There was no one even close to him. And the one-timer, making no mistake about it, it was a fantastic goal and a good power play tally. We're still in the first period and the Knights are on the power play yet again. There's just 20 seconds left, but Theodore is skating it down the ice. He plays it to the wing. Carlson throws a shot on net, gets his own rebound and fires it home past Hellbuck. Some good work there for a power play goal yet again. This time William Carlson gets it, his 7th goal of the season. The Knights have been doing a pretty good job at spreading their goals around. One thing that they do have, they may lack in star power, but they do have some decent forward depth across their top 3 lines. And it looks like every single one of them are contributing, which is good to see. The fans are certainly happy with that Carlson goal. Perron and Theodore with the assists. Yet again, we come back to the first period. The puck is in the neutral zone and intercepted by Winnipeg, and on the transition, Sharp comes down. He tries to play a puck inside, but it ends up in the corner. Andrew Kopp comes out in front of net and slots it 5-hole past Marc-Andre Fleury. Fleury has been beaten there a couple of times in recent games, so interesting to see that Kopp has obviously spotted a weakness there and decided to come out from behind the net and see if he could smash it past Fleury, and he's able to do so. Very, very straightforward goal there. And the Vegas Golden Knights are going to have to be satisfied with just a 1-goal lead after all of their efforts in that first period. We now move on to midway into the second. Buffglin has the puck. He plays it down to Dano, who fires it into the corner. The Golden Knights come away with it. Can they break out? It looks like they can. A nice pass out to the wing to Alex Took. Plays it inside to Sheehan. Took throws a shot on net. It goes high and wide. Sheehan comes away with it though. It's played to Riley Smith. A nice little spin to get away from trouble. He tries to cut into the goal. Somehow this puck has squirmed its way in. I don't think Riley Smith knew a tremendous amount about that. It was most certainly the Winnipeg Jets D-man that poked that puck past Hellebuyck ultimately. Yep, there we see it. Riley Smith will get credit for it, and to be honest, he worked hard to get the puck down low and to try and force the puck from behind the goal line. But it's the Jets D-man that puts the puck past Hellebuyck. Riley Smith will no doubt be pleased for his 4th goal of the season. A bit of a slow start for him. We are expecting a little bit more from Riley Smith as we see a battle late in the 3rd period in the neutral zone. Perron is trying to get into the Jets zone, but he gets bumped off the puck and the Jets come back. Holland skates inside, has time and space. He picks his spot, fires it just over the outstretched leg pad of Marc-Andre Fleury. And Holland gets his 5th of the season. We're going to have another look at it here. A very nice cut inside, but there's so much space that he's allowed. He's got so much time to pick his opportunity and definitely fires it over Fleury's right pad. And we have a 1-goal game with just 5 minutes left in the 3rd period. We do move forward now to the last minute or so of the 3rd, and we see the Vegas Golden Knights on the power play, skating the puck up the ice. Reinhardt comes away with it. He tries to throw the puck down low, but somehow manages to come away with it. Smith tries to play it back to Reinhardt, but he retrieves his own mistake. What's he going to do? He plays it down low to Reinhardt. Back to the point. Goligoski with the shot. It squirms out to Vrbata. Vrbata trying to find some room. He gets the puck back. Hellebuyck is unsighted. He manages to scramble across his net, but he leaves his 5-hole wide open, and Vrbata is able to put the puck home. Low and hard, right between Hellebuyck's legs. 14th goal of the season for Radim Vrbata. What a free agent acquisition he seems to be so far this early into the season. 14 goals to lead the Golden Knights. Nice little pass there to create the opportunity. I think that was Strome with the assist, so he will come away with a goal and 2 assists in this game. 2 points on the power play, so a strong effort from the Golden Knights' #1 centre. That's the end of the game. The Knights come away victorious. It's a 5-3 victory as the players go to congratulate Marc-Andre Fleury. Great effort by him, but really the Vegas Golden Knights had so much pressure in that game. They peppered Hellebuyck with shots morning, noon and night. The second period was maybe a little bit quieter, but the first period, they really set the tone. They fired a lot of pucks on at Hellebuyck, and in the end, I think the amount of work that he had to get through, ultimately, he was stretched, and the desperation save didn't come off in the end. 5-3 to your Golden Knights. Let's take a look at the statistics, and we will categorize exactly what caused the victory and the loss for the Winnipeg Jets. Victory for the Knights, 42 shots to 32. More time on attack. Passing pretty even across the board, but the power play yet again comes up trumps for the Golden Knights. 3 for 6 they were on the power play. Winnipeg probably taking too many penalties. Even strength, they probably would have done the business, but they just could not stay out of the box. So that will be certainly disappointing for them. Winnipeg, second in the NHL. They haven't quite got the job done. Far too many penalties there. And didn't quite get it done in the face-off dot either. 26-20 to Vegas. Your 3 stars, Ryan Strome, what a great game for him. The first line centre for the Golden Knights, picking up a goal and 2 helpers. Riley Smith with what will be accredited as the game winner, even though he didn't know too much about it. And Travis Hamonic from the blue line, getting a couple of assists, both on the power play there as well.
So we come away with a fantastic win against the Winnipeg Jets, and that gives the Golden Knights a record now of 20-11-3, very much on par with the Winnipeg Jets. I'm just going to have a quick look at the standings. Yes, that puts us in 3rd in the Pacific, and just a couple of points off the Anaheim Ducks with a couple of games in hand. So we're going to sim to the end of December, and then we're going to have a look at some of the stats. And hopefully we can see what strides we've made as a team. So we've got Ottawa, Chicago, and Colorado, and yeah, Chicago. So we're going to sim all the way to the 1st of January. We've got 4 games to sim, so let's see how we do. We've got Ottawa first, and I offered an extension deal to Nate Schmidt, and it looks like he's rejected that. I can't remember offering this playmaker a contract, but apparently I did. Amateur Scout is calling us up. So where have we got a scout? We've done Q 4 times, O 3 times, WHA 3 times, the States 3 times. There's plenty of players from Sweden, so I think I want to do defenseman for a couple of weeks. Chicago is up next. I'm going to go and have a look at this player morale just before we go and play the Blackhawks. Alexiak wants to talk to me. He doesn't like to complain, but his ice time is something that's been distracting him of late. I need to go out there and make sure that he knows that he's got to play well to earn minutes, and he has responded favourably, which is good. I'm not sure whether I'm fully on board with this morale system at the moment, but there you go. Shea Theodore has got a mild concussion, and he's going to be out for what looks like a few days. So we need to edit the lines. That is a shame, because Shea Theodore has been playing pretty well for us so far. He's been on our top line, so I think we're going to have to put Goligoski up there. So we've replaced him on all of the lines. Mainly Jamie Alexiak that's come in. So see how we do against Chicago. We beat Chicago, which is good. Can we beat Colorado? Marlowe's been injured as well now. That's not good. So we've changed up the lines. Riley Smith jumps up to the 2nd line. Nestrazel, because he had a pretty good season in the AHL last year, and he's benefiting from high morale. He's going to jump up to the 3rd line, and Bellemare is going to come into our 4th line. So that still looks relatively strong. We should be okay. We lose 4-0 to Colorado, and Shea Theodore is back. So Shea Theodore is going to be on our 2nd line just while he fully recovers from his injury. Goligoski is going to continue on the top line for the time being. Can we beat Chicago? Yes, we can. So we beat Chicago a couple of times in the last few games, and we are 22-13-3. That is a pretty good record. In fact, pretty much bang on equal with the San Jose Sharks, who we have up next. We're going to end the sim there. We're on the 1st of January. We're going to have a look at some of our points totals and see how our team have been doing. But we are doing pretty well. Vibata has been our top point scorer, but actually it's pretty even across our top two lines. You've got Vibata with 27 points. Reinhardt has been picking up where he left off last year and really doing some business for us up on the top line. Strome has been decent enough as a top line centre, but I just want to compare how we're doing to some other teams. Okay, the Caps have certainly got more points up. Comparable-ish to the Jets. Jordan Eberle leading the league in points. That's not something I thought I'd see. Okay, so maybe I'm not doing too badly. I'm probably missing an out-and-out goal scorer, but we know that we've not got a completely elite player on our hands. So looking at our forwards, Vibata, Reinhardt, Strome, as a top line, yeah, okay, they might put up 50, 60 points. They're probably going to, yeah, 50 to 60 points so far this year if we extrapolate out until the end of the season. Perron and Marlowe are doing pretty well as a second line unit. Carlson may be lagging behind slightly. Carlson had a good year last year. He ended up with 50 points, so he's going to be a little bit shy of that unless we can get his production up a little bit more. Riley Smith, I think, is doing slightly better than last year. No, he's probably on par for a similar amount of points, 36 points odd. But at the moment, he's stuck on our third line. So with the introduction of Marlowe and Vibata, a couple of snipers, I think it's helped out our team quite a lot because you actually have some players that are shooting the puck. Riley Smith is a sniper as well, so perhaps he can fulfill that role on one of the top two lines. And we've been missing a trick last year, playing him primarily on the third line. Alex Tuch has been doing okay, quite happy with his play. He's in line to get a decent uptick in production compared to how he's done last year. Considering giving him some power play time. We'll see how he does, but at the moment he's developing nicely. He's an 81 overall, so yeah, he's going to be a solid third liner for us. And when someone like Marlowe or Vibata retires, perhaps Tuch and Smith are the ones that can pick up the mantle for the next few years. Beagle has been doing okay on fourth line duties. McGinn has actually been doing pretty good in a fourth line role, picking up 10 points. See how that compares to last year. So yeah, he's on a similar sort of pace for last year as well. Sheehan, as is often the way, our third line centre, he is not putting up many points at all. However, because the team is doing much better this year, he is benefiting what looks like quite a lot from improved morale. So maybe we can expect him to kick on towards the second half of the season and do a little bit better. But Sheehan, maybe I need a better third line centre. I don't know. He could be doing a job for us defensively, although he is our third and fourth line do look like they're minus players, as opposed to our top two lines, which are just about plus players, Vibata especially. Moving on to defensemen, how are we doing? Goligoski, 14 points. Not bad. On track for 30 points for a season. Theodore has been doing pretty well as well, considering this is his first year full-time in the NHL. Yes, he's an 82 overall and he's getting top-line minutes, but he's actually looking being not too far away from his AHL total last year, albeit he's not going to get 23 goals. Hamonic, I'm quite happy with his production. Merrill is a plus player, which is a bonus, and it looks like he's been playing primarily with Goligoski. So they've been doing good work on the second line. So maybe I want to keep that line intact. At the moment, Goligoski is up on the first line because Theodore was still recovering from injury, but I can change those lines up. In terms of power play stuff, it looks like Theodore and Goligoski have been getting a lot of their points on the power play. And that says to me that the defense aren't contributing that much even strength, which is a shame. Fleury, As we would expect, is having a bit of a bounce back year. He's 17, 10, and 2. He's been playing a lot of games, but a 9.25 save percentage and 2.37 goals per game. Relatively happy with that. Hutchinson has also been putting up his end of the bargain by going 9.11 save percentage and just under 3 goals per game. Perhaps that goals per game could be a little lower. But all in all, as a backup role, yeah, he's been doing okay. Looking at our AHL lineup, and we seem to have some much better goal scoring going on there. Henrik Samuelsson is my third line centre in my AHL team, and he has 35 points going through 39 games. That is pretty fantastic. Reed Duke is on top line duties and he's got 32 points. Quite happy with how Blandisi and Dal Cole are coming along. Dal Cole doing well. He's up to a 78 overall, benefiting from some good morale as well. So he's also a sniper. So 22 years old. Another player that we could look to replace either Vabata or Malo next year. Taylor Lear, not doing too bad. He's high bottom 6 potential, so he's probably going to cap out at a very low 80, 81, 82 max. So he's coming towards the end of his growth phase. But 26 points, not too bad. Perhaps I need to give all of these players who are high 70s some NHL time to really kick them on any further. Komashuk has done okay. He's high bottom 6 as well. He's up to a 77 overall, 24 points. Cadiles, 23 points, not bad. Brendan Gaunce, I think, has been playing top line minutes, and Tyrati has not. So yeah, maybe we need to have a look at those guys. On defense, Coca has been doing well, 14 points. Timothy Liljegren has been putting up some points, considering he's only a 69 overall. Quite happy with 11 points from him. Patrick Silov, I think he's our top line pairing. Again, not much work on the power play. Not much work on the power play at all. How have our normal skaters done on the power play? Maybe a little bit better. 10 points by Taylor Lear. Blandisi has been getting 8. Decent amount of goals. Blandisi 4. Actually, we've been spreading the goals around a bit. I think what I'm missing in the AHL lineup is a sniper. Dal Cole is the only sniper. So yeah, maybe something to think about there. And in terms of goalies, Hammond has been doing good. But actually, Vehelainen has been doing fantastically well. Only 12 games, but a 9.51 save percentage and 1.29 goals per game. That's great. Hammond hasn't had a great save percentage, but his goals against is still pretty low, which suggests to me that we aren't letting up a huge amount of shots, which is what I would kind of expect. We're 25, 11, and 3, and I think if we go to have a look at the lines, we're going to have a strong defense compared to some others. If you look at some of these defenses, they've got plenty of players in their 60s, not many players in their 70s at all. Whereas I think we're all decked out in 70-plus D-men, with the exception maybe of Timothy Liljegren. But I'm starting to get a bit of a better feel for how these AHL teams, how it's worth developing your players in the AHL. I think once they hit sort of 77, 78, they're never going to get any better playing in the AHL unless they're sort of 19, 20 years old and at 78 overall, in which case they're probably a high potential player. They're going to be like a top 4 D-man or an elite player, and actually their natural growth is going to eclipse what they can learn in the AHL. And I think that's probably fair to real life as well. So Reed Duke, I would imagine, 22 years old, he's probably benefiting from some decent morale as well, but he's medium top 9, so maybe we could get him to sort of 82, 83 overall, but he's not really going to be able to do much more in the AHL, and we really need to consider playing him in our NHL lineup next year. Looking at how players have developed, Fleury's gone up to an 87. Reinhardt's gone up to an 83. Bogosian has regressed a little bit. Carlson has improved very, very, very slightly. His balance has gone up by 1. Sheehan has gone up a little bit, which is good. He was suffering from some poor statistical growth, but it looks like because we're playing so well, his morale growth has negated some of that regression, and he's back to an 81 overall, which I think is what he's naturally at anyway. Goligoski is probably regressing slightly now that he's 33, and I'm assuming that there's going to be a few others that are regressing. Beagle is going to be going down at 33 years old. McGinn, is he going up or down? He's balancing out somewhat, a little bit of morale growth, but regressing slightly because he's playing fourth line minutes. He's probably a third or fourth line tweener. Babata is going to start getting slightly worse, but he is getting some good statistical growth because he's had a cracking start to the season. So actually, he's on pretty much an even keel. Tuke has gone up to an 81, as we suggested, with some good morale. And that's about it. If we have a look at the players that we have in the system, Evan Bouchard, who was one of our draft picks this year, is getting some natural growth. Steenberg is getting some decent growth. Mike Riley, I think a guy we picked up off waivers, is getting some poor statistical growth. He's regressing slightly. Hopefully we can build him back up to a 79, 80 overall, and he can be our 7th D-man. Kai Gadorov is not currently signed, but he's low elite, so hopefully he's just going to keep on ticking over and growing. Lilligren is up from a 67 to a 69. That is some nice growth. He is benefiting from some natural growth and some morale growth, so that is good to see. Coda Glass is still in the CHL. He's up to a 68 overall. Delacole is up from a 76 to a 78. Yeah, this is good stuff, and Reed Duke is up from a 75 to a 76. Looks like some natural growth and a small amount of morale growth in there as well, and some morale growth and some natural growth. The rest haven't really done much. Some of these guys are 18, 19 years old, so they're still in the CHL, so I'm not expecting them to grow a huge amount, but really happy with Bouchard. He's going to be a top 4 D-man, so the fact that he's getting some natural growth and coming along quite nicely, hopefully by the end of the season he's pushing a 60 overall, and then by the time we tick over to next season and we get some off-season growth, he'll be nearly sort of AHL ready and might need a season in the AHL before he jumps up into our NHL lineup. But yeah, happy with how things are going. I think we do need some more goals if we swap back to our NHL lineup. So we look at the team standings and we are 3rd in the Pacific Division, but we have the lowest goals for. We played 38 games and we've only scored 97 goals. Compare that to the Canucks, who played 35 and scored 110. They're actually scoring quite a few. So we're lagging behind in goals for. Goals against, we're not doing too badly. We're one of the better teams in the division. If we look at the entire league, then for goals for, we're still towards the very, very bottom. We're 3rd last in terms of goals for. And actually, we beat the Winnipeg Jets 5-3, and they've got one of the best goals against averages in the league. We are doing well for goals against, though. 2.55 is putting us top 10 for goals against, so happy with that. And it looks like we're there or thereabouts. Our power play has certainly picked up. We're no longer bottom of the pack. We've got 23 power play goals, which is good. It looks like we're getting quite a few opportunities compared to the rest of the league. Where are we? 140 power play opportunities. So we're getting the rub of the green when it comes to penalties quite a lot. Short-handed, it looks like we've got 3 short-handed goals, which is great. Power play goals against. Our penalty kill looks like it might be pretty good, unless we're just not penalised that much. Our power play, our penalty kill, yeah, it's one of the best in the league. So our special teams seem to be doing okay, but our 5-on-5 play is what might be letting us down. So I'm looking at maybe one trade. And one trade alone. We've got some snipers in the wings, but I'm conscious that Verbata and Marlowe are not going to be getting any better. I'm not looking at trading them because I think that the veteran experience that they have could do me some good. I want to get Riley Smith either some more time on the ice or to trade him away. But I'm really not sure what to do. I think Smith is the guy that we want to get rid of. He's a sniper, but his shot isn't fantastic unless we can really get him going. He's 27 years old, so he's not really going to progress much more unless we can give him a great season. He's also on $5 million for another 4 years. So Smith might be somebody that we keep hold of for now, but at the trade deadline, Smith is someone that I might look to offload depending upon where we are. So there you have it. We've had a really good start to the season. We're in January 2019 and we've got a good record. Can we continue this positive run of form? Can we get a little bit more even strength goal scoring? We'll have to wait and see, but so far so good. We're certainly starting to progress, so that is very nice to see. Catch me again in the next video where we will sim another couple of seasons, another couple of months. We'll probably get to, I think, the trade deadline. Let's take a quick look at the calendar and see how far we can get. So January we can definitely sim. And I think the trade deadline, yeah, we're definitely going to sim to the trade deadline next time around and do some wheeling and dealing, depending upon how the team does. Are we going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? That is the main question. Secondary question, should we trade away Riley Smith anyway? To try and get some more elite goal scoring in and really help that playoff push. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the rest of my channel for some more franchise stuff, some more Hockey Ultimate Team and NHL 18 content. But I appreciate all of your support. It's been really good over the December and January period, so thank you ever so much for everybody who's been watching my videos and commenting and liking them. And I'll catch you again in the next video.